Today I'm going to show you how to use fraction strips to find equivalent fractions. First, we're going to start by labeling our fractions to see which lines align with each other. So let's start with 1/2. I can put a red line right here, and I can look for all the lines going down that are the exact same spot, and I can label them red. And you can see that I have several lines that work. So I can say that 1/2 is equal to. Now there is nothing in the thirds that shows that it's equal to. My first one is going to be in the fourths. And I can count how many fourths does it take to equal 1/2. I can see that 1/2 is from here to here. And when it comes to fourths, I do 1/4 and then 2/4 equal that line. Therefore, 1/4 is equal to 2/4. What's the next number that I can look at? It doesn't work for fifths, but it does work for sixths. How many sixths does it take to make 1/2? I start here and I go until I get to the line. It takes 1/6, 2/6, 3/6. Therefore, 3/6 is an equivalent fraction to 1/2. They are equal to each other. We'll continue on. I can see that sevenths, there's no line here, but there is for eighths. How many eighths will it take me to make 1/2? 1, 2, 3, and 4/8. Therefore, 4/8 is also an equivalent fraction or is equal to 1/2. I look at ninths. I don't have anything here on ninths. I will now look at tenths. There is a line there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It takes 5/10 in order to make 1/2. So therefore 5/10 is equivalent to or equal to 1/2. I continue going on my fraction strip here. I have nothing, no line here in the 11th, but I do in the 12th. So I start here and count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 twelfths make 1/2. All of these numbers are equal to or equivalent to 1/2. I can also look at the denominators to help me. So for example, if I have 1/2 and I want to know how many fourths make 1/2, I can use multiplication to help me. If I look at my denominators, I can ask myself, what can I multiply times 2 to get to 4? And I know that I need to multiply it by 2 to get that. Well, if I multiply something in this fraction here by 2, then I must multiply the numerator by the same thing. I must multiply it by 2. Therefore, I can see that if I multiply my denominator 2 by 2, I get 4 in the denominator. So I multiply my numerator as well by 2, I get 2. And 2/4 is equal to 1/2. Let's try that with tenths. 1/2 equals how many tenths? Well, if I want to find out, I can multiply my denominator 2. I have to multiply that by 5 to get to 10. If I do it to the denominator, I have to do it to the numerator. So I multiply the numerator by 5, and my answer of 1 times 5 is 5. Let's try a different one. What if I want to know 1/2 is equal to how many 16ths? I don't have a fraction strip for this, but I can use my multiplication to help me. I can see that I need to get my denominator from 2 to 16, which means I multiply by 8. I then must multiply my numerator by the same number, 1 times 8, and 8/16 equals 1/2, or is an equivalent fraction. Now, we can continue to check other numbers. What if I want to know 3/4? What numbers are equal to 3/4? Well, I can continue to look for any lines that are the same as where 3/4 would be. You can see that I've gone 1/4, 2/4, and 3/4. So now any line that lines up with this red one will be equivalent. I don't have it in the 5/5. I don't have it in the 6. I don't have it in the 7th, but it looks like I do have it in the 8ths. I do not have it in the 9ths, 10ths, 11ths, but it looks like I do have it in the 12ths. So using my fraction strips again, how many 8ths equal 3/4? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So 6/8 is equivalent or equal to 3/4. And again, with the 12s, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. 9/12. So let's try using multiplication to see if this is true. 3/4 equals how many 12ths? Well, if I multiply 4 to get to 12, it must be 4 times 3 equals 12. So I'll do that to my numerator as well. So 3 times 3, and that equals 9. So I know my answer is correct. So here are two ways to use fraction strips or multiplication in order to find equivalent fractions.